your job!
Do better. Do better, Throber.
Pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Welcome back to the Double L podcast. Today we're diving into a crisis hiding in plain sight in the Bay Area. One that doesn't get talked about too much on the news. My name is Kevin, and today I have two fabulous researchers. Might you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi guys, I'm Vince, and I've been looking into wage disparity and economic inequality.
And I'm Jared, and I've been looking into infrastructure inequality. And since these are so interrelated, we decided it would be great to just partner up for this.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining me. Today, let's set the scene. Most people hear the Bay Area and they think tech money, innovation, opportunity. But you two have a unique story to tell. Vince, would you like to start us off?
Oh yeah, for sure. So honestly, the Bay Area is, like the wealthiest region in the entire country. But honestly, that wealth is incredibly concentrated. When you look at the data from the Bay Area Council Economic Institute in 2010, the median income of the bottom 10% was just 11,000 that year. By 2019, it had only climbed to 15,000. Meanwhile, the top 10% went from $285,000 to over $534 in that same period. That's not just a gap. That's literally two completely different worlds existing in just the same zip code. And that was before the AI boom made things even more extreme.
The wealth disparity is quite staggering. And Jared, what even happens to those people on the lower end of the wealth income spectrum? Where do
So
they end up
that's
living?
exactly no, yeah, absolutely. So that's exactly what we've been researching here, and we've seen that in these low income housings, that a lot of conditions are like it's so alarming. I mean, we're talking about like mold in the system, broken plumbing, lead in your water supply, and like but these aren't like edge cases. These are so widespread, and so many of these are not only by the city but also by many of the housing authorities. And the worst part of this all is that so many of these repair requests, like they could be ignored for months or years.
Okay. Thank you, Jared, for that talk about the infrastructure and how terrible it is to actually live in low income housing. So, uh, Vince, would you like to go deeper on the economic side of how that works for low income people?
Well, let's see. So it's definitely a combination of factors, but yeah, tech is, a huge driving factor into that. You have this like massive concentration of wealth in one industry, and it's inflated housing costs way beyond what low-wage workers can really afford. According to the SF Chronicle, California has the highest cost of living in the country. Utilities are 60% higher than the national average, and San Francisco specifically is 16% more expensive than anywhere else in the nation. And it's only getting worse because of that, AI and tech industry boom. But obviously the causes go deeper than just tech. There's a lack of living wage policies. There's systematic inequalities tied to race and immigration status, and there are real barriers in accessing education and job training. So it's definitely not just that wages are low, it's that the entire system is structured in a way that makes it hard to climb up in the social ladder and in wealth.
So, Vince, you were talking about the lack of living wage policies, right? So that economic side of the story, what does the church actually say about this?
Well, yeah, I've been looking into the Catholic social teachings that are related to this issue, and this issue it's not just now. It's been going on for over a century. Rerum Novarum, written by Pope Leo the 13th back in 19 or 1891, established that the foundation of workers' rights, and he established that rather, and he was arguing that workers do have a fundamental right to a wage, and that allows them to better their lives and obviously to be able to support their families. It's definitely not optional, and it's just a matter of justice. Like it's as simple as that. And then Quadrigesimo año, which also does translate to 40 years later, goes even further. It says directly, and I quote, "The worker must be paid a wage sufficient to support him and his family, not survive or support." There's literally a difference. And Laborem Exercens from Pope John Paul II frames it very beautifully. He says that work is for the person, not the person for work. A just wage is described as the key means of checking whether an entire economic system is actually functioning justly. So when we see a system where full-time workers can't afford rent, the church says that's not just unfortunate, it's a moral failure.
So this low economic situation here in the Bay Area isn't it, it's not a political debate, but it's also uh an ethical
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and actually, the United Ways of California's 2025 real cost measure reports this with numbers as well. Because basically, they're what they're trying to show is that California, living in California and thriving in there doesn't just mean to live eating like cup noodles for the rest of your life. It means to thrive. That's why it's called the real cost. So what they were saying is that about 3.8 million California families don't earn enough to meet basic living costs. And over half of households below the threshold that they set are spending more than 50% of their income on housing alone. Literally, nearly 6 in 10 California households are what they call housing burdened. It's not just, a fringe problem, it's literally the majority.
So that's great and all. That's really lovely, Vince. Thank you so much for that talk. Now, Jared, we've been pushing you aside for a while. Talk to us about what you've
Yeah,
Oh,
been
I was
researching.
yapping for a little bit.
nah, don't worry about that. Okay. Well, so
Give us something
there's
about
this,
the
yeah,
conditions
yeah, no
then.
problem.
Yeah.
So there is definitely this assumption that when somebody has housing, they'd be well off, right? Like they'd be
Right,
okay,
right,
correct?
right.
But
That's like
that's
the American dream and all,
sad.
right?
Yeah, exactly. But sadly, it's so much more nuanced than this, and it's just certainly not always the case. So a lot of housing in these lower income communities, especially public housing that's managed by what's called the SF Housing Authority, as we all know, it's ter terrible
Right.
condition.
Go on, go on.
Just
Okay.
two words: absolutely terrible condition.
hmm
We're talking. I mean, I already said this: mold, which causes what respiratory illnesses, contaminated water with lead because these pipes are over.
Pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
That doesn't relate at all.
I
That
know it's
actually doesn't
volcanic
relate at
ash.
all.
Okay.
All right, let him keep going. Let him keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, these pipes, no, some of these pipelines have been established for hundreds of years. So the
For decades.
as these pipes deteriorate, they contaminate the water supply, which it's not a great rep for us. And definitely sometimes heating is an issue. I've definitely heard of problems where some units don't have or have broken heaters, and honestly, these are relatively basic needs. These should not be luxuries. Like that's what
I
I don't
know.
understand. And not even to mention the consequences of health. I mean, oh my god, kids with asthma. That's like
Right.
you should not be having like that's
Yeah,
not
like
Me
great.
being a personal like survivor of asthma, I have that experience. It's not great. It's not great.
yeah, and like
Yeah, I've
sometimes
had an
there's
allergic
black
reaction
mold
where
in
I need to
your
use
huh?
black mold. Yeah, yeah, black mold is actually a problem sometimes.
Yeah,
Black mold is
because
something
of the
to
rain
do.
sometimes.
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
usually
know where
about the
it's at. I know
rain.
there's specific. I know there has been specific units I've heard of.
Really?
Like I said, I do my research. Um,
Yeah, I have a little bit of black mold in my place.
That actually sucks.
mm,
Yeah, well, I just clean it up,
is
but
Francis? Maybe
Yeah.
Francis is covered in it.
I guess, dude. I guess, dude. So,
okay.
Jared, who's bearing the consequences of just lack of sanitary conditions?
Ooh, honestly, that's definitely a very difficult question. Um, I feel like okay, hold on.
What do
That's
you
not
think?
that okay, okay, I'm
Well,
not
what
okay,
what, what
okay,
do you
hold on.
think?
Sorry.
What do you think?
I know we did
What do
talk
you
about
think,
this. It
Jared?
was
What do you think? Food for thought. What do you think?
food for thought. Definitely food for thought. That's gonna take some
Well,
thought.
well, maybe like
Oh,
also the, like the low income workers and like residents, because like I was saying,
Right.
there's the low income workers, they are kind of forced into certain low income communities and like low income buildings, so they're all like they're all stuck together
yeah.
in like one
Sorry.
building.
Yeah.
So
Sorry to interrupt for this one. I mean it's definitely a cycle. As you said, right? Low income means bad housing. Bad housing means, bad conditions. And
yeah,
therefore, what? People miss work when they're sick, less income. It, it explains everything.
exactly.
It's a cycle of poverty.
That's
It's
it's the root
it's not how it should
cause.
be. It's not how it should be. It's not pretty, of course, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a problem. If I had to if I had to quote unquote blame someone for it, I would say it's definitely partially the government, but I believe it's also
Yeah.
partially the contractors who want to make the housing. Right? We have the land. Right? We
Exactly.
all know that.
Do you,
It's a
do you think it's Daniel Lurie's lack of
it's real.
policy changes?
It's
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 real.
all of them. It's all of
It's
them.
Palantir. Don't even
Well,
lie. Don't even lie at that point.
All
all
right.
right.
Past that. We
Well,
actually got
honestly,
together and had an
We're
opportunity
not
to.
past that. I'm not done.
hold on,
Oh,
hold
oh,
on,
okay,
yo.
you're not
I
done.
ain't
I'm
done, bro.
so
I
sorry.
ain't
I'm so
done.
sorry. I thought we were done here.
Come
Sorry.
on.
Go
Come
ahead. Go
on.
ahead. Go ahead.
But essentially, I would say it's very dependent because we did talk to multiple people who we actually talked to someone who has done a research on this and we have
Mhm.
interviewed him. Um ah Vince, can you remind me his name?
Joseph. His name is
Yeah,
Joseph
Joseph.
Smook.
Yeah. Joseph
Yeah.
Smook, amazing guy. But essentially I feel like the main problem of blame is definitely I feel like it's definitely who they're building for.
See the smoke coming out of
Yeah.
his mouth.
The Smook, yeah. It's SMOOKE.
Yeah, Joseph
Yeah,
Smook.
SMOOK. Joseph Smoke.
Joseph Smook.
Okay.
Bro, why does this sound like it sounds like those like rapper tags, you know?
No, because he's actually really
Smoke with
cool.
it. Smoke with it.
No, but he was actually
Fire
really
producer
cool because
tag.
like the points he was making was just
No,
amazing.
they're very
Yeah, yeah.
Should we
very
play a
well versed,
clip?
very in
And the
depth.
organization that he's coming from, he's the co-founder of People Power
Yeah,
Media, and their entire organization is, trying to build or create a place or create policies for low-income people to just have a place to live. Like,
All right.
I feel like yes, that's definitely correct. To add on to that, they definitely have done something really good, which is I know it doesn't come off that way, but they're definitely educating people who have not really touched on on this problem or have not really considered this problem.
yeah, yeah,
Why,
yeah, for sure.
a lot of this is covered up by like this homelessness problem, right? However,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Us focusing on homelessness doesn't help the housing inequality at all. Why? Because as I said, taking the blame, right? These contractors are building houses for these homeless people. Okay, sure,
Hmm.
but you're building houses for the sake of building houses. You're not going to maintain them at all.
Yeah,
Right.
like
What about the previous ones you built? You're gonna ignore them,
exactly.
right? I mean,
Right.
it's
That actually
so
makes a lot of sense.
it's definitely a cycle that is it's just so covered up by so many other controversial topics that like it's so sad.
It's like a
It's very sad.
spiraling social sin, I guess. I guess we could
It's
say.
a
Yeah,
spiraling social sin that nobody realizes they're in.
Right. Instead of
it's
And
it
wondering.
I think that's the scariest part, that not everybody realizes it.
it genuinely violates the CST principle for the option for the poor and
Yeah. No,
vulnerable.
absolutely, absolutely.
Like it's sure they're making those buildings, but if you're not like helping them maintain it, you already know that they're, obviously poor, but if you're not helping them maintain it, you're literally just leaving them there. Like you're not doing anything after that. So,
That's an amazing point. I feel like the other thing we can definitely think about is not only the people, but also maybe the environment around it. Because, I already mentioned the mold, and let's say your pipes
yeah,
are breaking down. If they're if they are lead coated, if that leaks into your soil, think of your pets, right? Think of your pets, think of your plants, think of like literally just think of the environment of SF right now.
yeah.
I mean, we already go through droughts so much,
Oh
but
yeah.
having like this man-made problem that nobody wants to fix on top of a problem that we can't exactly solve ourselves, that's out of our control. I just it just feels like nobody cares, right? And I think that's terrifying.
Yeah. And it's also kind of like violating, or not really violating, but you're not quote unquote caring for God's creation, which is another
No,
CSC principle.
absolutely, absolutely.
Like like I guess with my topic, it also ties in with like displacement and a lot of low income workers, they're going to, like East Bay just to live, like because that's where it's a little bit cheaper than, obviously in SF. So like I think, oh, you probably heard like I think it's tomorrow or something, but I or Highway I-80 is like closing down for
Yeah,
sure for
it's closing
something.
for
Yeah, they're
they
literally calling
did
it
say something about
Carmageddon.
maintenance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for Caltrans.
Like,
So that
yeah,
oh, Caltrans,
yeah,
Caltrans.
yeah. It is.
yeah. So like literally with that, not only are you contributing more like carbon emissions, which obviously isn't really caring for God's creation, but you're also like s- taking so much time away from these workers and their families, and it's literally like it also ties in, I guess, to the CSC principle of call to family and community, where if these people aren't don't have that much time with their families, how are they really going to be able um to like be with their families? Like how can they go to Disneyland? How can they have time to go to their son's birthday
Yeah,
party?
yeah, you're
Like
right. Yeah, it's
infuriating.
actually terrible. That actually does. I love your point, and that community. To focus on that community part, that definitely ties into something that could actually help solve this problem. I know I'm speeding through this a little bit, but I feel like the biggest way we could actually solve is through public funding, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
where are our taxes going? Like, if you take a look, what percentage is actually going into that housing? Not building housing, but maintaining the housing.
What?
It's hold on, give me a second.
We'll just give him a second. Those are some excellent points, Vince.
Thank you. Yeah. It's it's honestly a lot. Like
Right.
it's a lot to take in because, well, honestly, I'm also, low income, so but
Yeah. I think you and I are, you know.
yeah. Well, I think it's like
In
he
reality,
was saying,
yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, no. I just said in reality, it's sort of not that bad, honestly. Sometimes it's not that bad. Uh,
Well, I mean,
Sometimes it is really difficult though.
yeah,
And it's very
definitely.
difficult. Oh, and sorry, to get back to you. You know how okay, so annually, do you know how much SF actually makes in terms of tax income?
How much?
115
1.4.
trillion.
Oh,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
oh,
Well,
imagine.
hey, it's really high. It is 1.4 billion actually.
And
1.4 billion.
and that's the city's budget for the year. How much is the city's
1.4.
budget?
Okay. I'm not even done. These are only business taxes. 1.4
Actually?
billion.
Yeah.
1.4 billion from business taxes. Total projected revenue 15.9 billion. You know what? You want to know how much actually goes into fixing housing?
How much?
Maybe only 50 million.
Did they forget how expensive
Eat
it
them
is
apples.
here?
Eat them apples. Come on. Do better. Do better.
Yeah.
Look at me. If you guys are looking at me, do better. I hope you guys see this. Please do better.
Yeah,
Yes, this
honestly,
is this is a team. These are three teams telling our government do better.
do better, guys.
Do
Do
Honestly.
better.
better.
Well, yeah, like Jared was saying, we did have the opportunity to speak with Joseph, who's actively working on that, and he was walking us through his report that Jared mentioned also. It's called "Who is San Francisco Building For?" So let's just hear what he has to say.
There are these detriments to society that happen when you just let developers, like market rate developers, decide who they're building housing for and who they're not building housing for. So if you have public investment to make sure that public dollars are being invested in making sure that housing is actually affordable because you're reducing the debt burden, you're reducing kind of the financing costs for that housing, then you can make the rents cheaper and such. Then you can actually have the ability for teachers to be able to live in San Francisco, and then your public school system isn't suffering from trying to figure out where to get teachers from, for instance, or all the essential workers that we list in the report. I mean, these are all literally essential workers, and it's good that that category was kind of created during the pandemic so that we could think about these workers as essential. It's just after the pandemic, people stopped thinking about them as being essential. But if you think about that, like fundamentally that these workers need to be able to afford to live and work in the community, or to be able to work in these jobs, and therefore they need to live somewhere. And so in order to be able to live somewhere, they need to be able to afford to live in that place. And so it actually benefits, let's say, the city of San Francisco, the state of California, to invest in affordable housing, to actually put up public dollars, public subsidies, because there's a huge benefit to it. It actually is an investment for, for the government.
So
What?
that was Joseph Smook from People Power Media, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Vince, what stood out to you in that short little clip that we just saw?
yeah. So what really was like, what really hit me in who is the city building for? Because obviously, when you look at the data, it's clear that development is just following profit, not people. Because and that also does directly connect to the CST principle from octogesima adveniens, which literally says that when housing is inadequate, families are demoralized, young couples can't find decent housing at prices they can afford, and youth end up escaping onto the streets. The Catholic Church, saw this coming decades ago.
And
Like,
it's like the cycle of just
yeah,
capitalism.
it
Yeah, it's
continues to
so.
happen.
I
Dude.
have no words. No words.
Yeah.
I already got my message across.
But yeah, honestly, like what Joseph was describing was obviously just, the lack of accountability. Like the policies that don't prioritize the people already living there. That's exactly what we see in the housing infrastructure crisis too. It's the same root problem. A system that values profit over people.
So the lack of policies, the lack of just uh
And also definitely
infrastructure, right?
misuse. Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
also misuse of money. I feel like is
So
going everywhere. It's going
financial
everywhere else.
illiteracy, right? Financial literacy.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how does that fit into the wage disparity that you're researching about?
Well, for me, I guess it starts with, the dignity of work, because workers literally just aren't being paid fairly for essential jobs.
Right.
And that also does tie into life and dignity of the human person, because if you can't afford basic needs, you can't live with dignity. Then it hits, like I mentioned earlier, call to family and community, where families get displaced, commutes get longer, and people have less time to for their kids and their communities. It also hits, rights and responsibilities. The right to fair wages and safe housing simply isn't being met. And ultimately, it also does hit solidarity, where the wealth gap is literally segregating our communities by income, creating divisions where
Well,
there should be connection.
yeah.
Jared, do you have anything?
Definitely adding on to this. I'm so sorry
Yeah, yeah,
to
no, go
Vince.
ahead, go ahead.
Great point in terms of that wage gap because uh oh man. Um this is very hard to say. But there's this study from UC Berkeley, called it's a joint it came out of Berkeley. It's called the Urban Displacement Project,
Uh-huh.
and it definitely there's definitely they saw that there's this link between displacement of low income people and like that wage gap. I mean,
Really?
yeah, um, in from man from 2000 to 2015,
Yeah.
I believe over 17% of this is just black communities.
Yeah.
Only black communities. 17% of these communities moved out of SF because of this.
Yeah.
That's almost
Uh,
that's like borderline of this. What are
yeah.
we doing?
A
Right?
lot of people move out of SF just because it's too expensive.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I've known teachers who quit jobs over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sad.
Then he moved to
Like,
like Daly City or East Bay.
yeah, like my
Yeah.
brother, he um chooses to live in Hayward right now because it's cheaper over there than in San Francisco. And his job is in San Francisco, so he makes that drive almost every day when he has to work. Like crazy.
Uh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anything else, Kevin?
Well,
Uh,
I think now that's the only thing that's left is just what does a solution look like?
yeah. What does the solution look like?
Well,
Jared,
well,
want to give your ideas first?
well. Oh man,
What do you think, Jared?
that's very tough. It's I mean, for a problem that has definitely been going on under our noses for maybe decades and decades. Um. Ooh.
I think I kind of have one.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead.
I'll continue to think.
at the root of it, um, what we really need is just a true living wage, one that's like tied to the actual cost of living in, the Bay Area, not some like outdated federal standard. Because like full-time work should guarantee the ability to afford basic needs, and that has to be paired with, like affordable housing reform, rent control, tenant protections, affordable housing requirements built into new developments. So like we also do need to invest in public transportation a little bit more. Like we already know that Muni is great.
See
So
that muni defunding that they're getting
oh
defunded
yeah,
or
yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah. But
So unfortunate.
so we just need to put that funding back up. But yeah, like it's just to help, the people who are displaced further out, be able or for them to be able to make the commutes a little bit more. So also the church's vision in Laborem Externis or Exercens is that employers and workers form like a relationship of mutual obligation. A just wage isn't charity, it's justice. And with Rerum Novarum, it reminds us that when systems fail workers, it is right and even necessary for law and authorities to step in.
Right. Jared, anything to add?
Like similarly, there's definitely been many documents that also talk about the definitely talk about this infrastructure inequality and also basic human needs. I know look, Gaudium et Spes um it addresses that that housing and public resources should be pretty essential for human dignity and development. And I feel like it definitely fosters solidarity. And I believe if we read and follow whatever their suggestions are, I think we
Yeah,
can get rid of
for
that
sure.
segregation gap. I feel like that's not the only solution though, right? We
Yeah.
actually have to address the funding, right? What did we say? 50 million out of what? 15.2 billion.
Oh yeah.
Are we serious?
Just a little bit more. Or not a
Yeah,
little bit,
maybe
a lot
maybe
more.
1
Maybe a
billion
lot more.
more, please.
Oh yeah.
Please, they need it.
Like
Um
people
That's
yeah,
spend most
so
of
that's
the
a
most of
result
the
of
time
I
at
know.
home.
military industrial complex provided by the
We're
United
pocketing
States
our tax money.
1960.
Yeah.
We're pocketing our tax money. Okay, but essentially, we need to increase public housing funding. That's
Yeah.
definitely the
Daniel
biggest
Lurie, do
thing.
your job. You said you do this.
Do better. Do
Do
better.
better.
I will emphasize
Well,
it one more time. Do better.
honestly,
The
yeah.
other thing, yeah,
Go
honestly,
ahead.
yeah, sorry. The only other thing definitely besides this is what about existing housing, right? The other thing is, yes, maybe you could fund it, but we need someone to actually repair it. And I feel like if they're ignoring it, we need faster repair times, correct?
Yeah.
So I'd say if people are in an emergency, if there is something where everybody could report what the issue is, I think if it's very urgent, right? I feel like that should definitely be top priority. And I feel like if these are definitely ignored, I feel like there should be some type of penalty for whoever was supposed to take care of it. Um, and that actually leads me to my next point about accountability and definitely being more transparent to the public because this is such an unknown problem, right? Not too many people know about it because it's so domestic, right? I feel like a great way to address this is definitely have something where you can publicly track the maintenance
Oh,
that's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
Oh, remember what Joseph was also talking about, how they made
Yeah,
they or a way to try, or I forget, it was like something about them being, or they were the ones to push for a policy that made it so that like infrastructure development and building costs were
yeah,
transparent,
definitely.
I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So literally that's a policy that we're currently advocating for. Like
and I think we
that
should continue. Yeah,
100%.
we need it. We need this, right? I mean, it's so bad. I mean, the other thing is definitely. I mean, I don't. This one might not be as good as the others because I don't know who we're putting in office anymore. But we definitely need to expand government oversight.
Oh yeah.
Knowing their reputation, I feel like that could go either way.
Yeah, and
Um,
like I think also just not just as like a culture or not just us and like other regular people. Like what you were saying, I think that the government and even businesses should, move from being like profit first and instead be people first. Because
absolutely.
like we're
No,
not trying to
yeah.
be anti-economy. It's just that we're
We want
trying
to
to
be
be
pro people.
pro-human.
Pro,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pro life. Yeah.
Like yeah, like the
That might
economy
be a different
exists
argument for another
for
podcast.
for another for another
Yeah.
podcast. But
Maybe it's to one a little bit before, you know.
oh yeah.
Just throwing it out there. But essentially, ooh,
Yeah, like I think that also that that's what, the gospel wants is for us to
absolutely.
for the economy and for, like money, like or as John Paul II was saying, the economy should exist for the people and not the other way around.
Um, Kevin, I know you live in an apartment. How often? So this will actually kind of relate. This might relate to our solution. How often does your building get inspections?
Honestly, I can't lie to you. Inspections are usually like once or twice a year, to be honest.
Mm,
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be. I feel like
a little bit more.
I feel like
You
right
have
where you are,
you
it's definitely good.
can I
Yeah,
finish?
I feel like one or two inspections a year is good. I feel like that's what we need, not just for. I know I'm so glad your place already has adopted that. I think everything, every other, not even every other, every single public housing building or every single unit like that needs more. It needs more inspections, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Like it's not just inspections, but them being accessible or like
yeah,
being open to accepting requests for building maintenance. So like obviously I also do live in an apartment and as or surprisingly ours is actually really good at responding to requests after like a day or two. After a day or two, we just have we are able to get our repairs in, so that's also nice.
yeah. I don't know if we want to wrap. I don't know. Vince, if you could summarize everything just as in one message
Like a
from you, what do you
TLDR.
think? Yeah, yeah. What would
I
you
want
say? Just one special message.
I guess for me, the one thing that I want everyone to take away from listening to this is that we are all human. We're all one human family. Like, obviously, as a family, we need to take care of one another. We need to be there for each other. So, being there for each other means making sure that everyone has a place to live, and not just to live, but to thrive, because that's what we need. We're all trying to make sure that every single person is in the best situation that they can be. So I think, yeah, just to summarize that little message, it's just be there for one another. Whether it's the government being there for you, whether it's you being there for your neighbors, it's just be there for one another. Be
Solidarity.
open to exactly solidarity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I feel like in a city as wealthy as SF, right? I mean, I already threw out those numbers. I feel like yeah, just nobody should have to go through like terrible living conditions, right? I feel like we need to start treating livable conditions as as a right. It
As a
needs to be a
norm.
right, not a privilege.
Needs to be a norm. Needs
yeah.
to be
You
a
know what?
societal
You know
norm.
what? If you really want to drop some ball,
We amended.
look at all the progress we have around this. But progress loses its meaning when prosperity exists alongside preventable suffering.
When people fall behind.
Right? No city can call itself just while neglecting those most in need, right? I feel like that's the biggest thing.
Oh yeah.
You can't have progress if you're ignoring preventable situations.
Okay.
It's
Thank you,
awareness is a
Vincent
big key to
and
it.
Jerry.
So
Yeah. Thank you,
actually,
Vincent.
I think,
Oh,
well, just to add just one little tiny bit. Yeah, when we were speaking with Joseph, we were asking him what's this one message that he would give to the young people. And he was just, I guess to summarize it, he was telling us to just be like I was saying, to be there and to understand and try to be accountable. Like not just as young people, but it's a message to everyone. Everyone needs to hold accountability, and not just or to be accountable means you have to be aware. So just for people to be empathetic and um realize that not everyone is living in, like mansions and the biggest houses in San Francisco. There are also million, hundreds, if not, or thousands of families living in lower income or not as good infrastructures and houses than the other wealthy individuals and
Yeah,
families.
absolutely. It's... Gavin, you seem like you had something to say there, huh?
no. I have nothing to say there.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
You
I'm
sure,
really
bro?
sure.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
really sure. I'm really sure. I'm really sure.
okay, man. All
All right,
right, I
guys.
see.
Our time's coming to a close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For researching. Thank you for bringing up this
Yeah, right up front. Hey,
educating
thank you for
about
having us. Right,
Thank you.
we love to
audience
get
Because
this
about
message
this.
out there. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
Awareness is truly what we need in life to
the
get
Double L
get
podcast will
get
always
things
be.
done. To get things done, right? Now,
I'd say
quick
awareness
shout
is great,
out.
but yeah,
Can I do a quick shout out, please?
Go
yeah, go
ahead,
for
Kevin.
it, go for it.
Let's give a quick shout out to Joseph Smook for actually talking with us, for presenting
Absolutely.
these numbers. Really great guy. We hope to see him again. Uh, anything else we want to add before we close this up?
Um, I think if you guys
I
just
mean,
want to
nothing for
learn
me.
more, you should definitely, like I was referencing them, so you guys should definitely check out the Bay Area Council Institute of or the Bay Area Council Economic Institute and the real cost measure and obviously other Catholic social teaching documents because this is a really heavy topic. So, and we tried our best to talk about it, but definitely there are also a lot of other resources that you guys should check out.
All
Let's
right.
add on to that, right? Besides checking that out, definitely check out UC Berkeley's Urban Displacement Project. They have so many papers on this. Not just from the Bay Area, just all throughout California.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, that's a PhD level project over there. I'd heavily recommend it.
And definitely check out People Power Media and the Rep Coalition. They're just amazing. Thank you again, Joseph. It was very nice meeting you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
With that, our
Thank
time
you.
is over.
Mhm.
Thank you for tuning into today's podcast.
And
Hope it
do
wasn't too
better.
long.
Do better, guys.
Do better.
Then just one final thing. Do better.
Well,
On the next one.
this has been the
Double Up
Podcast.
Hello, Paul.
See you next episode.
Later.